Hi, I'm Rachel. I'm from Creative Pathways Coaching. Welcome to my new series, Living Your Dreams. Now, this series is really about taking those steps towards working towards those goals. Those goals maybe that you haven't really gotten around to actually working towards, and it actually will give you some inspiration and some motivation to start that. So these videos are going to be fairly short. I'm going to try and keep them about 6 to 8 minutes long, so it's not too long. It also gives you the actual reference to go back to actually look at them over and over again just to keep getting inspired. So they're like little seeds, they're about, creating growth there. As well, at the end of each video, I'll also be teaching you a technique. Now the technique will be about really actually having those things working in your everyday life. So if you use these techniques quite regularly, you'll find that you will be more inspired and more motivated to actually start working towards your goals. So that's the reason for them. So we're going to start today, and this is sort of the first steps here of striving towards your goals and what are some of the barriers that actually stop you. So really a lot of what goes on for people and the reason why they don't strive towards their goals are about obstacles. And obstacles are based in fear. At the end of the day, there's some fear that lies behind that. We'll talk more about obstacles in the next couple of videos, but I really wanted to make it clear that these obstacles play a part in what actually goes on. So, for example, these obstacles could be as simple as, distractions. There's too much going on in your life. You may think of and be inspired by something that you see something, you think, that's what I want in my life. And then suddenly it gets shut down. Oops, don't have enough money, don't have enough time. What will other people think? So it's really, and my experience, and I've worked as a mentor and coach and as a counselor with people for many years. And it's very, very common to shut down ideas. And particularly as you get older, it is very much the excuse of, look, I'm too old, I'm not going to be able to do that. And, in my experience, that's not necessarily the case. I've actually worked with both males and females in their 70s, looking at, actually going and getting education, going to university, doing that sort of stuff because they're inspired to keep learning, also to keep using their brain as well. So really, you've got to think about that and thinking about where you're shutting down and why you're shutting down. So also as well, taking into account your goal, really looking at your goal. I am going to say it does need to be realistic. At the end of the day, I'll give you an example here. So say you want to learn how to fly, and I mean actually fly. Maybe not the most realistic goal, but you can think of other ways that you could do that. Maybe you need to build some wings to do that, or maybe, so it sounds a bit weird, but actually looking at the situation of what you want to do and how you can logically figure out how to do that. And that means actually really thinking about it. There are other people who actually become embarrassed by their dreams. Okay, another example here. I've got a friend who he's in his late 40s, early 50s. And since he was a teenager, he always wanted to be a guitarist. He is a guitarist now, but he wanted to be a famous guitarist in a famous band. And back when he was a teenager, he learned how to play the lead guitar. And he came from a family that was quite academic, although into music, but quite academic. And he sort of, over time, he got an education in something else. And he sort of not exactly shut it down, but he minimized it rather than spending the time actually and the practice actually becoming really, really good at it, and the striving towards the possibility of finding a band to, he actually concentrated his efforts on other things. He still is in a couple of bands, not famous, of course, but an amazing guitarist. I think he's great, but he minimized it. And I know when when he's had a couple of drinks and we're talking, is he does talk about that. And he does talk about that's this little dream that stays there, while for some people, and it's really very common, while, they're living their real life, they're still fantasizing about that dream that they would like to have, but it just seems too surmountable. So this series is about for those people who want to start doing that, who do really want to start those first steps, even if it's just looking around and getting inspired at first. So this is what these videos are for. And if that is where you're at, then this is for you. So we're going to look at really just about, and we'll go through the steps with each video. There'll be a number of videos, and I'll keep them short and they'll come out every week. But I do want to now look at a technique that you can use. Now this technique is about actually increasing your confidence. Now this isn't about, you can increase your confidence, and look, you can read lots of stuff and see YouTube videos on increasing your confidence from the outside. So looking at self-care, looking at how your posture is, looking at eye contact and making sure smiling when you're talking to people. And when you do that, that helps people will see that you're more confident, but you've got to remember all these things. So I'm going to teach you a technique that I use and I actually use quite regularly. And I'm going to be a little bit embarrassed because I'm going to give you an example of what I do. But it works for me and I know it works for other people as well. It's called getting in the zone. So this is really about energy. We have 3 elements of energy within us. We have the physical, we have the emotional, and we have the mental. So what we need to do is actually heighten that energy. Do you remember, everyone's had this experience, I know, of at least one time where they've, been walking down the street or, whatever, and they're walking around and they're feeling good, they're smiling, people are smiling back. They've got stuff to do and everything gets done so quickly and so easily. It's like you have a couple of hours or a day where everything is just happening. And that's when you're in the zone. Like that's when everything just comes together and just flows. So we want to actually, we want to actually be able to take that and actually use that whenever you need to actually create it. Whenever you need to have that. So for example, I use this a lot when I'm going to interviews, when I'm in meetings. My previous job, I used it a lot, and it's actually really good to use. I tend to use it once a day. I'm out and about a lot, so as a result, I do need to have that, be able to connect well with people and do all that. So this is called the zone. So firstly, there is the physical aspect. It's actually really quite important that you have the physical aspect. A lot of people can use jumping up and down, skipping, running, for example. Then there's the emotional and physical, the emotional and the mental. Now this can be, I know a lot of people, and this is about what floats your boat a little bit. Looking at let me think. Watching funny YouTube videos is one, laughing, getting that, goodness inside you out, getting your juices flowing, as it were. So I'll give you an example. Actually, I'll give you my friend's example. It's actually a guy I used to work with. And he used to, when he needed to get into the zone, he would quickly just run. He would actually just step out of work and go for a run for a couple of minutes. And actually get his phone and put his earbuds in and actually put on, I think had a certain comedian or a couple of comedians he would listen to while he was running. I don't think he had it too high in that, you want to be able to listen to things and make sure that you're not going to get hit by a car, but he would just go for a run. And the combination of the physical and the laughing and the, all the emotional and mental stuff got him in the zone. He would come back in and he needed to do whatever he needed to do. I, on the other hand, do possibly a slightly more embarrassing one, but it works for me. For me, I like to dance. So the physical thing for me is about dancing. And for me, it works. I danced as a child. So for me, it works. And so what I do, and music. So for me, what I do is I actually go into the toilet cubicle, whether it be at work, whether it be at a toilet cubicle near for the meeting I'm going to have. And I would actually get my phone, put in my earbuds, and actually put on some music and actually dance in the toilet cubicle. Usually I generally find something like Beyonce, and actually get into it, moving my hips, moving around, just getting it. And so for a couple of minutes, I'm doing that without singing, by the way, in a toilet cubicle. I've done it in a car. Like, a car works, but not as good as the toilet cubicle. But what it does is it increases my energy. And so then I'm in the zone. I'm feeling it. I'm feeling good. Then I walk out. I'm more likely to make eye contact with people. I'm just moving with confidence. Everything's working. So all that self-care stuff, the posture stuff, just happens automatically without even have to thinking about it. So get into the zone. This is an individual thing, and what's going to work for you. Like I said, for me, dancing works for me. My friend, going for a run works for him. So think about it. What's going to work? So you've got to think about the physical aspect as well as the emotional, mental. A lot of people do use something like a comedian or something, YouTube videos or something like that. And so use it, figure out something that's going to work for you. And what you need to do is just check your energy levels at least a couple of times a day and think to yourself, am I in the zone, or am I close to being in the zone? Because it's really important. You will appear more attractive, you will appear more confident, and as a result, you're actually more likely, and I hate to use it, but you're more likely to get things. You're more likely to connect with people when you're in that space than when you're not. So if you liked my video, please like, share, or subscribe. Subscribe just down below. Press that button there. I will be doing a video every week on this series. This series will actually go for a while. So please, and with every video, I will be teaching a technique as well. Also as well, if you want to get some one-on-one coaching, some one-on-one life coaching, please visit my website, www.creatingpathwayscoaching.com. I offer a 30-minute free consultation for new clients. So, but also if you want to just have a suss, go and have a look. So like I said, I'll be, doing these videos every week, and I will see you next week. Cheers.